Hi, welcome to a new video. Today we're doing a London vlog. So we went to London for 3 days. So we selected a few places to go and a few places to eat. We also filmed this whole experience and are now sharing it with you. So I hope you enjoy this video and let's get right into it. We hopped on an early morning train headed for London, as always with a short stint in the tube. Today we are exploring the British Museum. The last time we were here was in 2017, so we were definitely due a revisit. On entering the museum, we are greeted by this breathtaking Grand Court, which is Europe's largest covered public square. Designed by Foster & Partners, the Great Court is a beautiful, ample space enclosed by this remarkable glass roof with a reading room in the middle. As we glide through the crowds, we make our way to the first room. Originally designed to house King George III's library, is now home to the Enlightenment exhibition. The displays show how objects were organized and displayed during King George's period. The objects in the room showcase the connection between expansion of the British Empire and the Enlightenment. The increased wealth responsible for the creation of such collections was in great part driven by colonization and the slave trade. We step back into the Great Court and venture into another room bustling with a crowd. The objects in this gallery reflect 3,000 years of ancient Egyptian history, and at its center is the Rosetta Stone. This is definitely the most popular area of the museum. From ancient Egypt, we skew to get to ancient Greece and the Parthenon room. After a brief passage through the civilizations of Assyria and Babylon and a peek at the first library, we find ourselves in East Asia. From Japanese prints and in particular Chinese jade, it was great to explore this section of the museum and admire the work, time and dedication put into those artifacts. I want to mention that our previous visit to the British Museum was in winter, and this time it was definitely the height of summer, and they were completely different experiences. Certain areas, especially around the main Great Court, ancient Egypt and Greece, were very, very busy. There were a lot of families, tourists, and big groups of international kids that come every summer to learn English in London. So moving around was quite tough due to the crowds, especially in the ancient Egypt sculpture collection. The room was packed. It was quite frustrating to observe people touching sculptures and taking photos, and it was so crowded that people didn't really notice that they were bumping into ancient Egyptian tombs. Even though there were clear signs everywhere, it felt disrespectful, and getting around those rooms it was actually quite stressful, and it made me feel very anxious. So moving from those popular rooms really changed the whole experience. It became much more enjoyable and relaxing. This is obviously worth keeping in mind if you're visiting during the summer months, but I think especially July. Our plan for the second day in London was to visit the Design Museum and then explore Notting Hill. The Design Museum in London is dedicated to all the different practices of design. From fashion and architecture to branding and technology, the museum is a celebration of design as a force that shapes lives and the world around us and explores different aspects of design, innovation, and creativity. The museum had a fascinating exhibition focused on exploring and implementing sustainable building materials and techniques. The building itself is a beautiful architectural sculpture designed by John Pawson that complements the exhibitions and collections. It's not the first time we visited, and I always find the Design Museum an inspiring and educational experience. We wandered through the streets of Kensington and Chelsea as we make our way to Notting Hill. But before we adventure through those bustling streets, we definitely needed to make a stop for some healthy lunch. Notting Hill is full of corners and side streets with independent and not so independent shops waiting to be explored. After returning to Holborn and freshening up at the hotel, it's time to head to the Seven Dials Market for dinner. On our third and final day, we had limited time, so after grabbing a coffee and breakfast, we moved quickly to get to Westminster and South Bank to go on our first ever London Eye experience. Unfortunately, on the last day, we didn't film as much as we wanted to. Don't forget to like it and subscribe, maybe share. If you visited London before, tell me which are your favorite places and what you would like to visit. Thank you so much for being here, and hopefully we'll see each other next time. Bye!